back on the front and working. Niels Pollitt there on the right hand side. This is Michał Kwiatkowski in the centre. And the Oliveira brothers are wearing the black and white of UAE Emirates, helping out João Almeida, who's been looked after brilliantly by Matteo Trentin there, who's showing his versatility yet again. Our first sighting of Rui Costa today as well on the left hand side. The group's thinning out on this unclassified climb, and Alexander Kristoff, we know, is in great form this week after winning the other day on opening day. He's trying his best to hang on, not succeeding brilliantly at the minute.
No, it's always awful when you watch bike racing and we see the front of the peloton and they look like they're on a Sunday spin, and you go to the back and they're all over the bikes and suffering. It's just like the difference between someone that can climb well and not is huge.
Well, he's over the top, just as everyone in this group is now, of the last unclassified climb there. There's a little bit of undulating road coming up. Really tough, grippy roads in this part of the world. The interior, away from the coast and the golf courses and the sailing marinas and all that sort of stuff that's pretty typical of the Algarve. Some great bike racing and bike riding around here as well, if you just want to go and enjoy it, like Adam was saying, on a Sunday spin. Lovely place to visit. Racing your bike though, nice. Is pretty hard when you're in this company.
What's the famous food here, Rob, in the Algarve?
In the Algarve, I'm not sure. I know that seafood's big. I know that in Portugal it's chicken.
Is it?
Frango. Oh. Well, there's a rather famous chicken restaurant, isn't there, in the UK that you like to go to every so often? I know it's not strictly Portuguese, but it's based on Portuguese chicken.
Right. Thanks for informing me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, frango, chicken. Grilled chicken
nice.
Is a big Portuguese dish. Yeah, seafood down in the Algarve, you'd imagine.
I'd go for the seafood in these roads. They look lovely.
Oh, one of the great things about this race as well for riders is that they're the same hotel all week, more or less. Not huge transfers in the Algarve. An hour here up and down the motorway. And loops today to finish. How long are these three going to stay at the front? They survived almost to nearly 50 kilometres to go, and I think you could tell that it was a much more important stage today, given the fact that we've got world team riders in the breakaway and none of the third division riders we've had every single day so far this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think when Asgreen as well, we know that he's been coming back from injury. We know that he's getting back to his best. But if he's going in the breakaway today, he wants a hard day out in front as well. He wants to put the pressure on, get as much out of this race as he can. And he's probably picked the hardest day to do so on the terrain they've had so far. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets along when he gets back into the classics, Rob, old Asgreen.
Well, they'll be under pressure this year. Will Soudal quick step after the relatively poor spring they had last time out? The UAE Emirates will be looking to see what they can do. Tadej Pogacar wasn't too far off in Flanders, was he, last year? Just a couple of 100 metres.
Yeah. Oh, God, that would be so good if he was there again.
Well, they've got a strong team as well in various departments for it. Just touching on a little bit of disappointment for UAE Emirates this week was that Mark Hirschi crashed on the opening day. He's broken his arm and he's expected to miss around 2 months of racing. Of course, that will bring him maybe touch and go towards the end of the Ardennes, which is his main target of the season. So he might have to refocus, I think, Mark Hirschi. And we, of course, wish him all the best. There's Jai Hindley. Said he was coming into this race without too many big ambitions, but he has turned into one of the main men this week for his team. He's the best placed on general classification at 26 seconds. They've got options though. Another team with those options. Frederik Vondale, who's the best young rider at 33 seconds. And Sergio Higuita, winner of this stage last year, is at 28 seconds from Magnus Cort. For UAE though, it is all about João Almeida. Finn Fisher-Black there to support him in the hills. And Rui Oliveira here, riding at the front with Niels Pollitt.
Straight off the track, isn't he, Oliveira?
He certainly is, yes. He was at the Euros last week, riding the Madison. Portugal, by the way, rode a brilliant Madison with Yuri Leitão as well. They were just off the podium 4th in the men's Madison, the European Championships. And Portuguese track cycling is really on a roll, with Tata Martins taking the European Championship on the opening night, her first title. Real popular win, that one, for Maria Martins. One that was heavily and very nicely reported back home in Portugal. Track cycling has never been a huge sport. Road cycling has, with all the famous football teams having teams and things like that. Danish champion Camp is being brought up. Former Danish champion here in Kasper Askren. 10 races he's won, but they've been big ones, haven't they? Not many bigger than the Ronde of Vlaanderen.
No, apart from Ride London and Franco Belge and the British Nationals. Rob was just looking at me, we got FaceTime on then, and Rob was just looking at me like, what are you on about? And then he suddenly clicked, I was just naming my wins.
I remember the Ride London one very well. I was there on the mile with our good mate Matt Stevens commentating, actually.
That was a good day. But yes, Flanders is a little bit more.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, a bit bigger than Ride London, to be honest.
I can't talk. I've not even won the local park race.
You have the award for best commentator, though, Rob.
You know how to say the right things, don't you?
You're fine. Best in the biz.
Here's Mads Mikkels in the meantime. Estonian fast man. He's still hanging on in there, the Intermarché. And these guys are still working together. I screamed with a little signal there to Lewis Askey, asking if there was anything left in the tank.
Askey, it's going to be a hard breakaway for him. He showed some good rides at the end of last year and through last year. I think there was a little bit of learning to be done and just positioning himself in the right way. But this is, as you said, Rob, it would have been a hard move to get into on a day like today. He's found himself in there and he's still chopping along quite well. Askren in this situation would be an awful person to have in that breakaway, in terms of he will just rip your legs off. You'll be able to go like a diesel for hours and hours and hours, slowly getting quicker. So for Askey being there, brilliant.
Into the final 50 kilometres on stage 4 of the Volta Algarve. The Tour of the Algarve with Niels Pollitt at the front. He's been riding for a lot of the day so far. .49 seconds.
Nice little lump in the road is, you'll start to feel it now. It's like if you do a loop in training and come back the same way. It's always easy on the way out, the little lump you do, little hill in the road, and after 5-6 hours, you're going a lot slower up there.
What we've been racing for now, getting on for well over 3 hours. Slightly shorter stage today, but a lot more climbing. Not too much flat at all. Even the first 30 kilometres or so, there was ups and downs here and there. And this is where a lot of the local attention is going to be focused. João Almeida. Ivo Oliveira sitting on his wheel. Rui Oliveira up at the front. Finn Fisher-Black not far away. And there's Matteo Trentin, the former European champion, directing operations. What's happening here? Is he asking, do you need some food or anything like that? Or is he about to pull the pin himself and giving him last bit of advice?
Might be a wee stop. Just, oh no, come back. Is it a bidon he's got there? Yeah, it must have been the feed zone, so Trent's in there just coming back across. He must have just swung across, got a bit of food, a bottle, drink, musette, and just brought Brack across. Did think he is a little bit late to stop for a wee with 48 k's to go.
Well, certainly with how this race has been going this week. Mind you, we did have one of the third division Portuguese riders attacking yesterday when the yellow jersey stopped for a comfort break. It provoked an interesting reaction from a couple of riders at the front, Tim de Klerk being one of them.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oof, brave.
He was caught twice further up the road.
Oh, brilliant.
They caught him once, he went again, and then they caught him before it all kicked off. It provided entertainment. The team providing entertainment the last couple of days are in the pink there, and their man in the yellow jersey. They've had quite the start to the season, haven't they, EF Education Easy Post? Of course, they've got the man who's leading in the GC, but let's not forget that Odd Christian Eiking and Merahawi Kudus in that team are also at less than 30 seconds. And they've got quite the team to back up. And when you're riding in a confident team, Adam, it must really change the atmosphere. Things must just seem easier, less of a task.
I think when you've got a confident team, but also with someone that knows they can deliver what you expect them to, your confidence goes up massively. And I was just speaking to Davide Formolo about this, actually. He was in the Tour of Oman, and I was asking him about what it's like riding for Pogacar. And he was just like, man, if you go to a race with him, you like give 110%. If you ride for yourself, you give 100%. But you know, if you do everything right and he's doing everything right, he's almost guaranteed to be up there on the podium or whatever it is. So the motivation of just getting to a race with him is massive. So it definitely will be in that team now, where in EF they've got Magnus Cort in the yellow jersey. They won a couple of stages. Everyone's, you know, all G'd up, all happy about it, because, as you said, Rob, it's very easy to forget that last year they hadn't won hardly any races, and now they've got more than they had in a full year last year.
Yep, several national championships, GC wins for the likes of Nielsen Paulus as well. First wins for riders like Marijn van den Berg down in Mallorca. And here in the Algarve, the good start continues. Good strong breakaway continues as well for now. 46 kilometres remain, and 47 seconds is the gap. So we have really strong riders out there, don't we? Jesper Askren, we've been talking about. Matthias Watzek, by the way, is a really interesting rider. He's only 20 years of age. On that stage from the breakaway that looked like it was never going to go in a million years in the UAE Tour last year. Of course, you can talk about it maybe probably being a mistake from the sprinters' teams. One of those sort of meandering days where it's difficult to concentrate on the straight roads and straight lines in the desert some days. You know a sprint's coming and then it doesn't come and everyone's fed up. But, well, Watzek got the delight that day. And by the way, I have to say thank you for Wojciech, who got in touch to set the pronunciation police on me actually the other day, because I thought it was Watzek, but it is Watzek. So thank you very much to Wojciech for that one. Matthias Watzek, 20 years of age, as I said. Of course, not dangerous in the GC. None of these guys in the breakaway are, by the way. 6 minutes 37 seconds. As we see Valentin Madouas, who is dangerous. Came into this race saying he could win it, and he looks like he can win it. He was there yesterday, inside half a minute. You'd feel that he would have to really make his mark on the race, though, today, wouldn't he? And certainly when you compare him to the strong time trialists for tomorrow. Yeah,
I'd definitely say anyone that wants to win this race overall and make the mark, either just, I think you've got to try the first time up the climb if you want to go for the GC. So they've got the climb, then they've got a lap, and then they finish on top of the climb the next time round. So for me, I was going to have to make it hard from the very first time, do the lap, go hard again. I think if nothing really happens or not many riders go that hard on the first climb, then it's all about the glory just for the stage win, and forget about the GC. Let's just go for the stage win. And let's not forget, if the time trialers as well go flat out up here the first time, then they might be like, well, I can't do this the next time. I need to concentrate on actually trying to win the stage tomorrow. There's so many things that could be going through so many people's heads in their ambitions of what they want to do. Win the time trial, don't go too hard today, but I've got to go hard today because I might be able to win the GC, and it's all like a battle where you're like, what shall I do?
Too much going on.
Yeah, there'll be a lot going on, but I think they'll try and hang on today. The likes of Garner, he's had an incredible start to the season. I think yeah, he'll go right up to the red, I think, today, trying to hold on so we can get a GC.
Inside 45 kilometres. A really nice image on the left-hand side there. The European champion, sprinter who normally has the team working for him, realises today is not a sprint day. Today it's his turn to do the work for his mates. And of course they're backing Ilan van Wilder today. He's taken a bit of a back seat, hasn't he, with the headlines to Magnus Cort, given what happened on stage 2, where he had his arm in the air and he just didn't see Magnus Cort coming stealthily round one side. I really feel for van Wilder there, because it was going to be his first pro win. He thought he had it. And of course they will have been poking fun at him at the dinner table for that, won't they, with his arm up there and celebrating. And it's all part of the game, I know that. But he's still looking good, isn't he? He's third overall, he's at 20 seconds, and a good race today. A solid time trial tomorrow, and he could end up being the GC winner yet.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be poking fun at him for quite a while, I think. Even I'd be poking fun at him now. If I was in the race, just go like down the road, you put, "Oi, sorry mate," there. You'd have to wind him up for quite a long time about it. But yeah, I think they've had a great start to the race for him in particular. But I think on a day like today, like you said, Rob, this is something where he can really get his teeth stuck into, and he's definitely a rider that needs to take time on those riders, the likes of Garner, etc., before his time trial tomorrow. Because no matter how good he is or in form he is, he still ain't going to beat Garner.
That was Stefan Bissiger, who's another time trialist to look out for. He's not involved in the overall. He lost time and pulled the pin very early on the first mountain stages at 17 minutes. But of course he's working for the yellow jersey, the race leader. And the turn he was doing there at the front. There's a little bit of a descent coming up in a moment, and then we're on to a next classified climb. And you get the feeling that, like we saw with those other roads a moment ago, Adam, you know, the race to get into the right position on the narrow roads, the front positions on the climbs in case something happens. EF Education Easy Post are suddenly in the race. They're switched on, and very few better riders than Stefan Bissiger to do that job, to keep that position at the front.
Yeah, it's important that you try and keep as many of your team back as possible. So for the likes of EF, just use Bissiger as long as possible. Just keep him there on the front for as long as possible once again. But by doing that, then they save the energy of the other riders. If 2 or 3 of them have to do that work on the front, the 2 or 3 when they get to the climb, unless they're on a super day, will probably be dropped. If they can save the energy of those riders now, get them sat in the wheels a little bit, not pedalling too hard, and then they'll make it over that climb, then Magnus Cort ultimately has got more support for that lap that they've got until they get to the finish again. So each team will be doing the same thing, not just with their own Stefan Bissiger instead of whatever they are.
Well, it says 43 seconds. If they're keeping this advantage, it's quite the ride. I'm not sure they are keeping it at the minute, because they were travelling at quite the pace behind. Just under 45 k's to go. You could hear the cars just going past as well there. This is the road into the bottom of the next classified climb to Alta. 2 kilometres long, 7.5% is the gradient out of this very small town that's nestled in the hills. Love all the white houses around here as well. Beautiful part of the world, Algarve. I have to say, it gets nicer the further you get away from the tourist resorts as well. These lovely little towns. Look at that, what a reception. I mean, we're 45 k's from the finish here, and they're dressed up like it's the Tour de France going past.
Great, love it.
Sensational. Here's Miguel Marco leading them through. Fabio Jacobs has done his job. Tim de Klerk is just behind. A lot of teams really fighting for the positioning coming into this big 180-degree turn in the start of the next climb. No sooner are they into the town of Alta, they're climbing out of it.
Yeah, it's not 44 seconds, is it? It's about 20 seconds, if not 10 seconds. Right,
you could just tell, couldn't you? Basically. The way that they were riding at the front, and the way that they were having to fight for those positions at the front, with the likes of Bissiger riding as well. It just looked a lot quicker, didn't it? And now we're seeing quite a bit of movement at the front as we start to go uphill again.
I'm surprised that Jakobsen was out the back so early then. I know that he's just done his turn on the front, but not climbing massively for now. I'm not sure if he is down to ride San Remo this year or not.
At that time of year, we start to build up.
Yeah, sorry, the only reason I say that is just because of the climbing within San Remo, but that team, they don't always stick to the plan with typically sending a sprinter there, do it? It's rare that they do. So maybe he's not doing that and just thinking, I don't need to climb that good.
Well, Julien Alaphilippe might have to say something about all of that as well. Interesting to see how it goes. Milano Sanremo that won't start from Milan this year. There's a late change to the route. It's going to start from just outside of Milan, but slightly different first 40 to 50 kilometres this year. As it looks as though our break is about to be caught.
I was going to say Milan San Remo, now finishing in Hull. It's a 4-day event. Oh dear.
As a Lancastrian, I'm not going to comment on that. Choice of destination.
Right, sorry everyone, back to the racing.
Yeah, we've got enough days to have a war of the roses on the commentary, haven't we? It's only the start of the season, Adam.
It's so true. It's kicking off soon though, Rob. Classics this weekend. That's it.
Weekend next weekend, isn't it? You and I will be together
Beautiful.
on Sunday for Kurna. I think Matt Stevens will be with you on Saturday.
Nice.
Or Omloop at Nieuwsblad. And then we go to Strade Bianche the week after that. Paris-Nice and Tirreno Adriatico. And Milan-San Remo, the first monument of the season, will be upon us in no time. Peloton will be upon this group at the front in no time as well. You can see why there was so much battling. Such a narrow road coming out of that turn there.
Yeah, they've almost... I'm not going to say they've eased off because these guys are still pushing hard at the front, but you can tell in that peloton behind with them all bunched up, you can tell that it's just backed off a little bit. Riders that have been at the front, they just want to